What's up, everybody? We are back. It is so good to be back, spitting and chatting. Another episode with Zane and Lane. I'm Lane. Got my boy Zane here. Zane, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up, everybody? Glad to be back.
Man, we glad to be doing this, man. I know we both had a lot going on the last couple of weeks, but we coming
Yep,
back at you with another episode to get things going again.
that's right.
Zane, what you got for us today? You got some paperwork?
Oh, I always got some paperwork. I always got some paperwork. What did we title this one?
Man, we talking about men's health today.
Yeah, men's health. So, in the past we've kind of talked a lot about, his mental health and,
Hmm.
how that's impacted us as men in various situations,
Yep.
especially relationships. But we really don't get to men talking about their physical, health. And why do you think that is? Like if you were just, I mean, I know you work in the healthcare field, but why do you think that is? We don't really discuss our actual physical health.
Man, a lot of it has to do with pride,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it sometimes just don't want to look at it.
Mm.
We know we may have some issues, some physical issues or whatever, but we just don't want to look at it. And a lot of it is just some people just don't have the resources or the education just to kind of see, hey, I'm at this certain age. I may start having these kind of symptoms or complications. I
Mm-hmm.
need to get this test done, or I need to get this certain type of blood work done to see what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, man, it can even go down to asking your relatives, hey, have you ever heard of anybody in our family having this type of a disease or disorder or complication? But it's just something we as men, we ignore. We try to just put, the tough guy lid on it and, oh, I'm all right, I'm good. And next thing you
Mm.
in the doctor's office or in the ER getting your blood pressure checked.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's one of those things that it's better to kind of get ahead of it than, wait until the last minute and now you got a problem. Now you're on medication for something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess this is definitely why it's something, we want to discuss. We talk a lot about these things just in general, but we know it's not a conversation that's had typically throughout our community and just men in general. It doesn't really matter what background you come from. It's
Yeah.
just the statistics are the statistics. As normal, I got a
Here
little
we go.
research that I did, and again, you can do your own research, but this says men are known to neglect their health more frequently than women,
Mm.
often due to societal expectations, fear of appearing weak, and
Ooh.
prioritizing work or other responsibilities. This can lead to serious health consequences, including an increased risk of chronic diseases, mental health challenges, and shorter lifespan. Ooh.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a lot to I guess unpack, right? And kind of go through. But the first one, the stats kind of bring up, it talks about the societal expectation. And it says traditional masculinity often portrays men as strong and stoic. We talked about that before,
Right.
where
Right.
discouraging them from seeking help or acknowledging health issues as a sign of weakness. And I mean, I've seen that, throughout my years, and even myself, I've had to deal with that mentally. Like, is this a serious issue? Do I need to go get checked out? Whether it's my teeth, whether it's my heart, gut health, whatever it may
Right.
be,
Right.
you know, I feel like we have a tendency to like minimize it, and it talked about kind of our life of like even have priorities. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? As men, we're doing so much trying to, of course, take care of our homes and our families. And a lot of times it's just making the time to take care of you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's been, I guess, your experience with that?
Man, it's like those statistics you just read off are so important. We try to, like I said before, put that tough guy lid on it and
Hmm.
ignore it. And we've seen movies with tough guys and Rambo or Schwarzenegger and all those guys, they're bleeding, they're hurt, and they keep going.
Hmm.
Well, that's the movies. In the movies, yeah, those guys can take a licking and keep on ticking. But in reality, man,
Yep.
you can't do that.
Right.
If you're sick because you got the flu or some other type of ailment, man, you need to address that. And it's not something that can go away. The symptoms may go away at that point, but
Hmm.
sooner or later, when it comes back, something may come back worse.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it is pride. And you'd be surprised how much male pride comes into play when we make decisions and us
Hmm.
trying to live up to what society says how we should function.
Yeah.
I know I sometimes hear this word like ambulance chaser. Like those are
Ooh.
people who are constantly always thinking they're sick or thinking something's wrong with them. And nobody wants to be looked at as an ambulance chaser. But, as we start getting older, man, like you said, it's not just your mental health, man. You got to go to the dentist, you got to go to your general practitioner,
Yep.
but they themselves can't get you well. 90% of the job has to be done by you.
Yeah.
And it starts with one thing, and it's an ugly word. And I talked to a lot of people about it. It's called exercise.
Mm. Yep.
And exercise, when you think about it, it's an uncomfortable word because you're going to be put in an uncomfortable situation. Rather, you're riding a bike, on a treadmill, lifting weights, whatever you're doing. But
Yep.
I was looking at some statistics, and it said reason why exercise is so important is because the number one killer of all men, and like you said, doesn't matter what nationality or background you're from, the number one killer is heart disease.
Mm. Yeah.
Heart disease. I mean, think about how that comes into play from what you're eating, obviously, is the number one
Hmm.
factor, and then your exercise. How much of that are you doing a week? And like you said, we could be bogged down from family, from work, school, whatever. What are you doing to take care of yourself, to keep yourself going, to extend your life?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How much in a typical work week or week do you have, 2 week period? I know you had a lot going on the last few weeks. Would you say
Hmm.
you get out and exercise on your own?
I would say it's probably an average of 3 times a week. Now, this last, couple weeks, it dropped down, to probably
Right,
once, and
right.
that's just because of all the things that I had going on. But I could feel the difference. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like every day I was telling myself, like, man, I got to get to the gym. Like this
right,
just,
right,
it just doesn't feel good. You know
right,
what I
right.
mean? And I know some people just have this, I guess, view of a gym, and going as like another task you got to
Hmm.
do, or "Oh, this is just another check mark I got to do." And in some cases, it can be like that.
Right.
Sometimes, some days I just gotta force myself to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's anything in life. But it really comes down to a lifestyle that I'm working on. I'm not there.
Mhm.
We're not trying to project like we just got it all together. We don't.
Nah.
But I will say that I know that I feel much better when I'm on a routine, you know what I'm saying, of working out at least 2 to 3 times a week. And my
Right.
goal is to be able to get in there 4, at some point.
Man, that's good, man. And that like 3 days a week is like the minimum most men should be exercising. And it doesn't have to be the gym. Some guys I see people around my neighborhood just walking or they're walking their
Yeah.
dog. And you'd be surprised on the statistics you see about just walking, how beneficial that is to like
Oh
your
yeah.
heart health,
Yep.
losing weight, your
Yep.
digestive system. Walking is very good for you. You don't got to do a 100-meter sprint or, get on your
Nah.
bike and race down to the beach. It's not that much. But
Nah.
like you said, man, I feel it too sometimes where, I can get bogged down with work because I work, my shift is different. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to use what hours I have to work out. I don't have the luxury of going to the gym at a regular time that most people do. So sometimes I don't want to do it and I force myself, like you said. I literally force myself. And it may
Yep.
take me a couple of minutes to kind of wake up, get in there, slap myself on the face a little bit, and get in my routine. And then sometimes I get in there and my body says, you know what, today is not the day. You're going to have to try this another day. And I just leave before I end up hurting myself or getting injured. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I know myself, I got to cut out some things in my life that, what I work out, I try to eat right.
Mm-hmm.
What do I have that's probably holding me back? Well, occasionally I like to do a cigar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people talk about in the cigar world, you're not inhaling or you're not Man, let me tell you, that is such the worst thing that could be said. Like, that's not true.
Right.
Like, you might not be inhaling it, but the secondhand smoke you get from when you're like in a cigar lounge, and I love the
Ooh.
camaraderie of it. But
Right.
I have to be real. No, it's like, man, that's not a thing you could be doing every day or a couple of times a week. I know some guys, they smoke cigars like, man, every day, or they when they do smoke one, it's not just one, it's like two and three,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
getting that secondhand smoke. I don't care if you're inside or outside. That smoke is so heavy and so
Yeah.
toxic, man. It's, once every now and then, you should be good, but that's something I got to do better with. Is like, I try not to do it a lot. I don't do it on my days off. Every now and then, special occasion, I go to the lounge. I do one, and that's my limit.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the thing. Everybody just needs to learn their own limits and their own vices, whatever
Right.
that may
Yeah.
be. For me, I love snacks, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I have to figure out like how to break these snack chains. Like I love
Right. Right.
chips and cookies and you know what I mean? So for me, I've been really trying to work on that,
Yeah.
get more smoothies during my lunches and
Yeah.
it's really a mental shift because I be thinking about like, okay, I'm about to get this cheesesteak on my lunch, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But then I know after that I might go want to go back to work.
Right.
It's like I want to take a nap after that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean your body's gonna tell you like how you feeling after you do something.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that you can always do is listen to your body. Your
Yeah.
body is going to give you signs. It's going to alert you if something is off. And even with the working out thing, I'm learning that there's some days I might go before I start work early
Yeah.
in the morning, and then there's other days like, man, I ain't going that early. I'm gonna go after work, right? And so you have to kind of be able to adjust too and not beat yourself up but just try to be as consistent as possible. At least that's what I'm learning. For me, I have to make those adjustments
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I can always talk myself out of going, but like you said, it may just be walking around the neighborhood. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different cultures that's what they do, like after they eat meals and stuff, you see them
Yeah.
just slowly walking around the neighborhood, but it might be every day that they
Yeah.
just that's just their routine, and they're naturally getting what they need because it's just a consistency, that's
Yeah.
taking place.
Man, when you said snacks, man, I think that's something we both have in common, man, because
Yeah, man.
I love it too, man.
Yep.
The other day, man, I had some Pillsbury cookies, and when you have a Pillsbury cookie, you ain't just gonna eat one cookie.
There's no way.
And
There's no
then
way.
what you gonna do? You gonna wash it down with some milk.
No way. You gonna stop.
You're not gonna have Pillsbury cookies with like some juice or
A glass of water.
water. It doesn't go right. It doesn't fit well with it. You're gonna wash it
Right.
down with maybe a chocolate milk.
Ooh.
And man, I love the snack too, man. If I can get my hand on some Mike and Ike's or
Yeah.
whatever, I gotta wash myself.
Yep.
But sometimes I have those bad days. I try to stay away from things like hamburgers or fried chicken or stuff like that. Oh, it's okay every now and then, but there's alternatives you can get. Instead
Hmm.
of getting, a hamburger, get you a protein burger, or a turkey burger without the bun and stuff like that. There's other alternatives you can get. There's healthy options for cookies. They may not taste like Pillsbury, but, it's pretty close.
Right.
I know it's not the same. I know how those Pillsbury cookies can go down, man, when you pull them out the
Right.
oven and you can smell when somebody's cooking that. Like, oh yeah, yeah.
Man.
And like dairy products, man, dairy products are almost like a bad word now. Like milk is so you don't see commercials. Back in the day, you used to see commercials where people have milk on the table or drinking milk. Now milk
Hmm.
is just so bad for you. But man, you talk about something that goes down nice, man. But woo,
It goes down nice, but for a lot of us, we get them bubble guts after the
yeah,
fact, if you know
yeah,
what I mean. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of alternatives, and from what we may have grown up on to
right,
now what we
right.
have, like I have, iced coffees and stuff, and now I get oat milk, which
There you go.
tastes good, and But I mean, you gotta watch everything because
Yeah.
you can go from one thing and then you just trying to substitute. Well, I'm not gonna eat meat, but I'm eat French fries and
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying,
Right.
all these other stuff. But claiming that now I'm vegan or now I'm plant based, I think when we talk about like diets and stuff, I know that we hear this a lot, but it really should be more of a lifestyle.
Mhm.
A diet is just one of those things that it doesn't sit well like with the psyche. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's just always a wrestle going on
Right.
when you talk about, well, I'm about to do this diet. So I think everyone has to kind of find what works for them. I mean, we all have our different vices. Like I said, mine might be chips or cookies, others might be candy or ice cream,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. And like you said, it's not that you can't have those things, but how do you either minimize them, to where it truly is a treat, maybe once a week or, every couple weeks
Yeah.
you do it versus every day. You know what I'm saying? It's just taking those steps because truly, like our lifestyles, they're so busy these days, and we're not getting as much like exercise or just being out in the open, like getting fresh air, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And sun, all the things that we're designed to get naturally to help like with our body, we're just not getting on a regular. So we have to be intentional about those things.
Yeah. Man, just as you said it, like doing little things like getting outside, you'd be surprised how many, and it's probably with women, but I know men, I sit and talk to my coworkers and each
Hmm.
of them have recently had blood work done. Vitamin D is lacking.
Oh
And that's
yeah.
because they're
Yep.
not getting enough sunlight.
Yep.
And that's beneficial to your body too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Huge.
but like you said, it has to be a lifestyle. And
Yeah.
diets are like fast, like they come and go. You'll be doing some kind of super cleanse you saw on the internet, some celebrity doing, and they lost
Mhm.
20, 30 pounds, and you'll do it and you'll lose weight. But
Yep.
if it's not your lifestyle where
Yep.
you're constantly thinking about what you're eating, you've kind of got your week mapped out with the days you're going to exercise and stuff like that, and maybe even when you go, what exercises you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's when you're really locked in. When you kind of know, have a game plan when you go to the gym, what you're going to do. Man, sometimes when I go, do I have that? Nope. But
Right.
I'll get in there and I'll feel what my legs are kind of sore. So it won't be a lower body day, it'll be upper body.
Right.
But definitely, I'm there pushing my body to the limits. Weightlifting, I found out through research, helps, increase your years of living. It helps with
Mm.
everything, your overall look, with
Mhm.
aging and everything. And a lot of people just don't do it. They go into the gym and they run and then they leave. Well, that's good too. But as you get older, man, you got to do more things to stay healthy. Your
Yeah.
body's not going to stay in that 20-year-old state no more. You were
Yep.
20, now you're 45, 55. You got to
Yep.
do more. And you got to do more with what you eat and how watching it and making sure you're not like late night, especially, man, you get those late night urges,
Mm.
9 to 10
Munchies.
o'clock at night,
Yep.
and you snack then and then you go right to sleep.
Right.
Man,
Yep. Man, that's real right there.
yeah,
Long,
yeah.
Yeah, some of us can, like you said, those late night munchies that we get sometimes, and go on the binge, and then, like you said, go to sleep. I mean,
Mm,
we know that that's one of the worst things that we can do, and that's it's just having that self, I guess, accountability. As you get older, and you have your significant other, and you guys can like spur each other on and encourage each other, right? But at the end of the day, like you have to take control of your own health,
yeah,
you know, be accountable for yourself because what if your significant other is not, holding you accountable or not in a position to encourage you, you want to be able to encourage them. You want to be
yeah,
able to hold yourself accountable. And so, I'm trying to get back in to the groove of things because like you said, like working out and lifting weights, it really makes a difference. You can see a difference pretty quickly too
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
consistent. It doesn't take long to start seeing change. Is just staying consistent with it. And I wrote down this bullet point saying if he don't look good, he ain't feeling good.
Mm,
And the reason why I say that, and I'm not talking about just from a arrogant view of himself. I'm just saying from a physical perspective, does he look good? Like, does he look healthy? You know what I mean? Or if he just looks completely out of shape, that is going to lead to other things, not just the health issues, but his mental, how he
yeah,
approaches certain things, his confidence. It all plays with us. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, like I said, we talked about mental health a lot in the past, but if you're not looking good and you see that you kind of from a physical standpoint look healthy, that plays with your mind. You know what I mean? It plays with your confidence. And that impacts us,
yeah.
again, that impacts us as men. So what's your thoughts on that?
Man, when you talk about things like that, and as a man, when you're not, I guess your overall appearance is not where you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's a discipline thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's willpower. It's willpower to say, no, I'm not going to eat Mike and Ike's and Pillsbury cookies at 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Or I'm not going to take, what's those tacos that they dip it in the juice and
Ooh, those
those
Berea.
burrito tacos and have the beans and
Ooh,
rice and a margarita. Come on,
and the
man.
chips.
And the chips.
And the chips and dip to go with it.
Yeah, and the salsa is not your veggies.
The
That's
salsa.
yeah,
Yep.
it's willpower. A lot of
And
it is
that queso.
willpower and the queso cheese.
Yep.
Like you'd be
Yep.
surprised when you're as a man talking about, "Oh, I'm good," but the willpower that you lack when you dive into those things, rather if it's the snacks or heavy meals, that's where you
Mm-hmm.
start really looking at yourself like, man, I got to step my game up as a man, because I could shrug it off or be tough guy, but man, I have a problem, with food or sweets or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And have maybe you need help with that.
Yeah.
And the good thing about today's society is that there's an abundance of resources and help you can get for whatever issue you got. If it's
True.
obviously weight loss is a big thing, and you'd be surprised on what obesity is. Obesity, I think is defined as like 20 or 25 pounds over your ideal body weight.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised how many people are obese just by that.
Yeah.
And that's a big
Yeah.
issue that a lot of people don't want to look at, and we don't want to shame nobody or nothing like that. But a lot of us are obese. And it comes down to what you're eating, what your lifestyle is. How
Yep.
much do you care about, your body and longevity?
Yep. And that's true. And us for men, we have a way of, I don't know about you, Lane, but for me, like we have a way of covering up, like our body fat. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I mean, everyone wears, I guess, body fat in different places,
yeah,
but I mean, most of us have it in the gut. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So we can throw on a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? And we'll go to the gym and we can have arms looking straight, pecs looking cool, whatever.
Right, right,
But that shirt is covering over that little pouch, you know what I'm saying? That little gut. And so we just wear it different,
right, right.
and I think that, when we look in the mirror, we all got to deal with the reality of what's there. My weight that I know that I should be at, and this is just based on how I know that I look at that weight, is like 180.
Okay.
So I'm like 195 right now, and I see it, the extra in, the gut area. That's just where it
Hmm.
is. So,
Right.
and that is one of the hardest places to get to.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can work out and I could have definition in other areas, and I could throw on a t-shirt and you wouldn't know. But when I take off my
Right.
shirt, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
those are still some of the mental things that a man could deal with. I know there's all kind of levels to that. I'm just talking
Yeah.
about from my perspective, right? And some of us can hide that. But at the end of the day, like you said, obesity is obesity,
Yeah.
and there's extreme levels, of course, but there's a lot of skinny people that die of heart disease and
Yeah. Yeah.
diabetes and things like that. So, I think there's a lot of levels to that.
Yeah.
So each that's why it comes down to each person taking accountability for what they know their body is telling them or needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I hear a lot of people who say they're vegan or they don't eat this or that, but they could still be obese or they could still be out
Hmm.
of shape. Maybe they're vegan or they don't eat meat, but you drink a lot of alcohol.
Mm,
And
yep.
that's a big killer for men. Like
Right.
it you'd be surprised, man, it talking from the beer to the cocktails, all
Woo.
that is you talking about excessive calories. Forget the alcohol content that's hurting your liver, but
Yeah.
when you're trying to lose weight, like that amount of excessive calories, man, like there is no low calorie cocktail. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
all calories. Even those seltzer drinks that a lot of people drink, it still
Right.
has calories. Yeah, it may not have the same amount of calories as a Budweiser or a margarita, but it's still a lot of calories and it
Yeah.
still has a lot of toxins in it.
Right.
But,
Right.
because I hear that with a lot of people who don't eat meat, but they drink. Well, how are you supposed, like, you think that's a healthier lifestyle than, the meat? Like, you're still destroying
Yeah.
your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like you said, it's you kind of know your body and what you're doing. And, I myself too, I can look at myself and I feel like, man, I need to tighten it up a little bit. Or I'm not shaming people, but you hear about some guys who have, what do they call it? Moobs, man boobs.
Hmm.
Like, got to wear a bra, and you talk about something for a man that could be a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
humiliating for you. Like, but there's a process in how you got there. There's a lot of you not, denying yourself to certain foods and exercise and how you got there. You weren't born like that, or maybe you were born with those type of genes to be, overweight, but it could be done.
Hmm.
I don't care who you are, what background you from. The way we eat growing up, home cooked meals from our grandparents, man, that
Yep.
stuff is tough to put down. It is tough. And smoking
Yep.
the greens and the fat back and the fried
Mm.
chicken, man, we ate good every night. But
Man.
you can't eat like that every day.
Right.
And that's
Yep.
something for a lot of people in our community we struggle with. And that's why
Yep.
we're like the leading type of people who have heart disease and digestive issues because the stuff we ate growing up, man, you cannot eat like that every day.
No, you can't. A lot of the this is just based on my own research, but a lot of the issues we have comes from the fats, you know what I'm saying? Comes from, like you said, the toxins, the fried stuff, which has to be, put in some grease. And a lot of that is what is really like hardening our arteries and all that. So like you said, it's the things that we grew up on, of course they tasted good, and they still taste good. But like you said, there's just a lot of things as we get more understanding that we need
Mhm.
to be able to refrain from, and like we said, it's cool to have every now and then, but because we lather stuff in so much butter and grease
Oh,
and sugar and syrups, and I mean that's just it just is what it is.
yeah,
But those things truly are like hurting us,
yeah.
as people. So, and for us, one of these statistics says shorter lifespan. Studies show that men tend to have shorter life expectancy compared to women, partly
Mm,
due to health neglect.
mm,
So I mean, most of us have experienced that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a grandfather pass before the
yeah,
grandmother, or the father pass before the mom. It's just something we have to be conscious of, and not that we want one to go before the other. It's just what can we do differently now that we have more knowledge and now that we have more understanding. So a lot of this is at our fingertips. A lot of the doctors are putting on their own podcast. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Or what we could do differently. I try to go for the most part, uh doing things more natural, with
Hmm.
natural ingredients and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we know that like you said, accessibility, or
Yeah.
resources, a lot of people just don't have it, or may not know about it. And so those are reasons why we're also having these conversations as well, just to try to assist in that.
Yeah, you know what? When you speak about resources, like there's so much information out there versus kind of here when we grew up, like if somebody wanted to lose weight, man, you had to go to a doctor to see, like, to map out a plan for you. Now all
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
to do is click, and man, there's a
yeah,
personal trainer online, or somebody
yeah,
that has a weight program or a weightlifting program for somebody in your age and your weight group. They give you the supplements you need to take, where you can buy them at.
yeah.
There's even apps that you can scan like a picture of your food, and
Mm-hmm.
it tells you how many calories that you're
Mm,
going to consume. I mean, we didn't have that. I mean, we were trying to gain weight back then, but now, hey,
right,
we're older. Yeah, we're trying to keep it off, but there's so
right.
many resources as a man. I mean, if you struggle with anything with your health, we
Yeah,
know for men, if you struggle with your sexual health, there's medications and things for that. And
yeah.
then I know the newfound craze of weight loss is the Ozempic.
Mm,
And hey, if you qualify, you meet the people who have the needs for it based
mm-hmm.
on assessment, then you can get that. Like,
Yeah,
man, that kind of information. But guess what? Not everybody may have good health insurance, or health insurance that's going to help them qualify for Ozempic. Guess what? You may have to lose weight and get healthy the old fashioned way.
yeah.
I started doing a couple years ago. I found out the benefits of apple cider vinegar,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it tastes like hell.
Mm, right,
It does. There's no denying that. You can't. Oh
right,
no, it has a good taste. No, it doesn't. It's the worst part of your day is you having to meet face to face with that apple cider vinegar. But you do
right.
the cap full, put a little water in it. It's over.
Yeah,
I don't, or people do the gummies. I'm not a fan of those, but I just go straight to the head, little water,
mm-hmm.
boom, it's done, it's over with.
Yeah,
But there's so many resources that are there for us with technology and the internet and AI that can help you be more healthy. But there's one thing I know as men that we talk about, and it's like men avoid talk. I've never even asked you this. Have you ever gotten your prostate checked?
no, I haven't actually. I
Man,
have not.
and
I
I
have
haven't
not.
either. It's not like I've done it and no, I haven't
Yeah,
either.
I haven't.
I'm not looking forward to it, but my doctor keeps hinting, hey, you need to. And I'm like,
Yep.
man, are you serious?
Yeah, I haven't. Well, so let me ask you this: why haven't you?
I don't know. It's just not something as men you're looking forward to that. Or maybe some men are, but I know I'm not.
No, I'm not either. That's
But
why I
I
haven't been there.
know I need to get it done, because the number one, there's a specific cancer that men are susceptible to, prostate
Hmm.
cancer. And you
Yeah,
hear a lot of men getting that later in life. And early detection
yeah,
is
yeah.
in your corner. If you can get that detected early, or you get it checked. I forgot the age. I'm in healthcare and I don't even know what age, because we don't want to look at that.
Right,
Anytime I
right,
hear the word prostate, I turn the other way. But
right.
I don't know why I haven't. Maybe you say I'm scared or I don't want to do it. Who wants to sit there and have somebody, what do they put, a
Hmm.
machine or their hand up there?
Mm.
Come on.
Yeah, man, I haven't done that. I haven't decided to do that. And that's just I mean, that's just one of those things I gotta wrestle with. You know what
Right.
I mean? Just like they say you should have a colonoscopy by a
Yeah.
certain age, right? That's something I'm wrestling with. Like I know what they saying I should do, right? And I probably should, but that's one of those things I'm kind of tiptoeing around. I'm just being honest.
Right.
And but it's good we having this conversation,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, again, most brothers ain't talking about this, you
Nah,
know.
nah, nah, nah.
So yeah, is it a sensitive situation? Yeah, we
Yeah.
got brothers that's passing away all the time,
Yeah.
from these things. So it should be more of a dialogue, more of a conversation.
Man, so I'll be honest with you, and I'll put this out there. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember growing up, I always had stomach issues,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
my stomach was always bothering me. I couldn't figure out why or what was
Hmm.
going on. And later, as I got, I think this was like my early mid 20s, things were getting worse with my stomach. So finally went into a specialist, and he told me that I had ulcerative colitis. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And he basically told me that, part of your colon is inflamed, and here's what this can lead to. 50%
Hmm.
of people who have ulcerative colitis can end up getting colon cancer if they don't take care of it and they don't get it checked routinely. How do you get it
Hmm.
checked? You have to do a colonoscopy.
Hmm.
So I've
Gotcha.
done colonoscopies, multiple ones. The good thing
Gotcha.
about a colonoscopy is that they knock you out.
Mm,
So you're knocked out. Hopefully, if the doctor's good and the nurses give you the right amount of medication, you're knocked out and you don't feel anything.
right.
And then they look at your colon, they take these big old Polaroid pictures, and it's not pleasant, but it has to be done.
Right. Right.
So I have to get those done in my age now once every 1.5 to 2 years. Got to get it done.
Okay.
I hate it. And then you got to prep for it. You can't eat. You got to take this stuff that empties
Hmm.
out everything in your stomach.
Right.
It is what it is. But I know where I'm at with my problem that I have with my stomach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after they go over with me the results for the colonoscopy, I can breathe at least for another 1.5 to 2 years to know I'm good until I get the next one checked.
Yeah.
That being said, the prostate exam, I don't think they knock you out or give you any medication for it.
Mm,
So that's part of the reason why I haven't done it, is because it's just like that. They just raw dog you just like that. And it is nothing cute. I don't want it to scare other men, because you need to do it. Lane and
right.
Zane need to do it. We all need to do it, but it
Yep.
must get checked. I think the year, or I think it's after 50 or right at 50. I'm gonna look that up, but
Yeah.
it needs to
Yeah.
get checked.
Man, bro, I appreciate you sharing that with me and with the
Yeah,
world, because it is something we need to know and take seriously, and make decisions for our health. So, man, I appreciate you, salute you for that.
yeah, man. Hey, and this problem I had to live with, and then what made it it got passed to my son through genetics. He has it,
Mm,
and he has to get the procedures done, and it is what it is. I didn't ask for it, but hey, that's what my gene code said I was gonna have.
yeah.
And I don't look forward to it, but hey, if I want to have an extended life, I got to take
Yeah.
care of this. I have to eat right. I can't eat a lot of spicy, heavy, greasy foods.
Mm,
Just can't.
yeah.
But early on when I was diagnosed with it, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'll be all right. Then as I start getting older and doing my own research, it's like,
Yeah.
man, if I don't eat right, take care of it, I won't be all right. I can
Right.
be one of those, in that other group of statistics.
Yeah.
But certain things as men, I just recently got my eyes checked, because, even looking on the screens when I'm at work, I'm
Hmm.
squinting and I'm having a hard time reading something. Now I enjoy kind of reading stuff because I can see things clearly, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to get my eyes checked for a while. I had to swallow my pride and get it done.
Yeah. And that's, man, like, just like you said, swallowing our pride is so important, man. Because when we let things go, especially when we know something is going on, we're just delaying, like, for one, the help and the relief that we can have. But like you said, if we let it go too long, then it could lead to the worst case scenario. And that's in any part of our body. We just have to take those things seriously. There's some teeth things that I have,
Hmm.
where I have to get like deeper cleanings than most people do.
Right.
Now it's more expensive. I gotta go more frequently. Nobody likes going to the dentist,
Woo.
but I have to take those steps to do the extra cleaning, to make sure my teeth are
Right.
straight. I don't want to wake up at 70 with straight gum in it. So yeah, I'm not trying to like repeat like putting in, you know,
Right.
the denture thing. I
And
mean,
putting them on your nightstand before you go to
yeah,
sleep.
like
Yeah.
soaking them in all that stuff. I mean, and
Woo.
that's not the shame, like our, the older generation and those that have gone through that, and even some of the younger people that's going through that now.
Mhm.
But yeah, like that's something I have to stay on top of, just because of the I guess, with periodontal,
Right.
issues, they have to do a deeper cleaning. So it's just like you said, I don't like it, but I got to do it. So,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, and ultimately everything is treatable if
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. If you get with it and address it, a lot of things can be treated. A lot of things can be cured. Whether people believe that, or whether scientific medical industry promotes that or not. There are a lot of things that can also be healed as well. With other treatments on top of
Yeah.
that. So. But the main thing is if you know you need help, like just take the steps to get it.
Yeah. Man, when you said dentist, I think that's the majority of people, men, women, older people, kids.
Kid,
Nobody likes the dentist. And they've advanced the
nope.
technology, but when you first get there, you got to do the x-rays. They put this stuff in your mouth and it's like, hold up.
Man,
And then next thing you know, it's zip, zip, and
yep.
that drill come out and that medication ain't kicked in yet. And
Man,
man,
it's the
but
worst.
yeah, I got to go get some work done too, man. And it's just,
It's the worst.
yeah, but
That's one field that, man. It's just like you go in and they prodding all in your mouth, and then they wonder what
yeah,
they want to ask, like, why is it bleeding? Well, you just poked me with this big old metal prick in my gums
right,
that I
right,
normally don't do. So, what do you think is gonna happen? I mean, that's just me. That's just how I think. But
right.
it's yeah. Nobody likes that.
Man, man. So you see, we got things we got to work on as men and tighten up.
Yep.
We're not perfect. We're just putting this out there so we can start dialogue and conversations with other men. And if you got a buddy or friend who's kind of, you can see that they have some health issues and say, hey, be a friend. Don't be
Yeah.
just a yes man. Hey, I know you got health issues. Put the cigarette down. And
Yeah.
people who smoke, like, I think that's the one thing. There's so many resources for people who have nicotine addictions and who can't put down the I was about to call them cancer sticks, the
Mm.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
Now I don't know if there's one smell that you can smell when somebody comes in the room, but somebody smelling like cigarette,
Ooh.
man. Especially like you could in the gym, somebody will come in and that cigarette smell will be loud.
Man, you can't shake that.
Man, nah,
And ain't
nah.
no disguising it either. Yeah, that permeates. That permeates.
Man,
Yep.
you
So I
put
mean,
on all your nice cologne, thinking you smelling good, and you going
oh
out,
man,
and you took a couple of cigarettes in the car, man, that it wiped that whole cologne, that expensive bottle out.
man, come on now. That's like going to the bathroom and he's trying to spray some
Right.
Febreze up in the pit. I
It
mean,
ain't
no,
gonna matter.
it don't matter. He just added some rose
Once
scent
that
to it.
stuff gets out, man, and that Febreze ain't gonna help.
Y'all already know.
Yeah.
So, man, but again, we just trying to help people, man, one way or another. And I'm glad we was able to have this chat. You got any last minute, I guess, just points or tips before we get ready to wrap up?
Man, just continuously, like we talked about, have these conversations with your friends, with your relatives. Don't be afraid to go, get your stuff checked out. We
Yep.
gonna do it eventually. We gonna work our way to that prostate exam too.
Whew.
I don't know how we gonna do it, but eventually it's gonna happen. It's not looking forward to it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but eventually. And I didn't had the appointment set twice, and I was a no call, no show.
He's one of those, huh?
Yeah, I,
Living Hills, where you at? They sending you checks and all
I
kind of stuff, wasn't they?
I ditched the appointment. I didn't even call and say I wasn't gonna make it. I was a no call, no show twice
Man,
for the prostate.
yeah.
But I think that's a step. Like maybe next time I'll show up and then
Hey,
I'll leave. Probably. I was like, no, I'm not ready.
hey,
You
man,
know.
you one step closer.
Yeah, and my doctor, she's a little old woman, and it's
Yeah.
like I thought I was gonna go to like a specialist. She's like, no, I'm going to do it. I was like, oh hell no.
Okay. Yeah. Can you say awkward?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's like smiling, like, yeah, I know, I'll do it here. Here.
Yeah, I bet.
Twice I've missed the appointment.
Hey,
Stay
man.
tuned for that.
Yeah, stay tuned on that note. But this has been good. This has been
Yeah,
good. We want
man.
to thank y'all for tuning in. Please continue to support this channel, and we're gonna do it again next week.
Yep. Next week. Thanks for your support. See you guys next week.
All right, take care.